Hello and welcome back to And Moving Forward vlog. We have a special guest with us today, so we're really excited about this one. I'm Chynel with Chapter 28 Beauty.
I'm Ronai with Anomaly the Agency, and this is DJ BangFvsa.
What it do? H-Town,
Yes.
all the way down south.
Right.
Hurricanes and COVID.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Y'all did just have the hurricane.
Yeah.
How was it? Like, what happened?
You know, we party the day before every time. We kind of welcome that thing in. So it's H-Town.
As an actual Texan would,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's H-Town till we drown for real.
Right.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you know how that
All
goes.
right. To get right into it. So, of course, the $1 million question: what do you do? How did you get started? What's your story?
So my story is I'm a DJ out here in Houston, Texas. I've been DJing since 2007. Yeah, 2007 off of a speaker and a laptop.
All right.
It kind of started out as, well, I was the youngest kid out of all my friends, and my friends were seniors. So one of my friends was throwing a prom party, and they all knew I had music in my laptop. So they were like, hey, man, just plug your laptop into the speaker and just play music for us. So I did that, and two girls randomly told me, man, you should be a DJ. You're really good, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, 2 days later, I asked my mom to buy me some turntables. So, yeah.
Hey.
And, yeah, pretty much taught myself.
Word. So since 2007, so that's a hot little minute right there. That's 13 years in the making.
Yeah. It's been a while. A lot of drinking, a lot of hangovers.
Right.
A lot of things.
Real.
A lot of stories that we can get into.
A lot of real life DJ type stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you're preparing for a set, like, what is your creative process? What do you usually do to kind of get you hyped?
So usually what I'll do is I kind of find what's hot now. And because what I like to do is I've always said that I want to make, wherever I'm DJing, I want you to feel like you're at the dopest house party you could remember.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if it don't feel like a house party, and when I say by house party, like when you hear songs like DMX, like Rough Riders Anthem, or, you know, and then like mix that in, somehow throw in like Bad Bunny, and because I really like, you know, I'm in Texas right now in Houston, so like it's really big on the Houston culture, like the Latin vibes, but then we still big on that hip hop and rap. So like you gotta be versatile, going back and forth.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I guess when I try to make my experience unique is by trying to make you feel like you're at a house party, but with high intensity energy. So like you're going at 100 miles an hour.
Situation from start to finish.
Yeah. You're just like you're like, I'm only here for one drink, and then before you know it, you're 6 drinks in because the music's going. So.
No, and I can definitely attest to that. I mean, so many summers, man, when we would just be at the beach. That's probably one of my favorite memories is just you DJing at the beach.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get in the water. We're literally just sitting there vibing, drinking, having a good time. Like, it wasn't even about the beach itself. It was just the vibe in general, and everybody would just be chilling. It was just mad cool. Yeah, definitely. And house parties, kickbacks, whatever.
And you can ask Ronai. I mean, out here we'll throw a party anywhere. We used to find a ranch and fucking throw a party in the fucking horse stable, like.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was one of your birthdays. Remember?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say your light just went off. I'm like, so she's in the dark now. We're gonna.
So I'm in the dark.
Is that what you at? Is that what happened?
Her lights just went off real quick because she got the motion detectors. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
over here like, hey, I'm still in here.
Pay that light bill. Make sure that light bill paid.
Right.
I'm like, damn, let's find out. Look.
Yeah.
Ignorant.
The ranch thing is real. The ranch thing is real. We did do that. It ended up being my birthday. The electricity went out. Somebody brought a generator real quick, and we just kept it going.
Yeah.
Like literally, they sing happy. And I didn't anybody. They were a little younger than us. Like it was just a random ranch party. They were singing "Happy Birthday" to me. Like it was just so much fun. It was so much fun.
Like you can be anybody, and they'll find a reason to just Oh, it's your birthday, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you was in the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is my question. I have a question because I always think about this when I see a DJ who I feel is terrible, like, or hear a DJ that I feel is terrible, because it's almost like you hear the same music. Like, say I'm somewhere on time, say the party started at 8:00, and I get there at 8:00. I'm gonna hear the music from 8:00. I'm gonna hear that again at noon. Oh, I'm sorry, at midnight. So like recycling the music, I hear that often with some DJs, and like the older DJs per se.
Yeah.
How do you manage not to recycle the music as often, or what do you do when you see a crowd kind of moving in and leaving and stuff like that? How do you, in your brain, how do you make that happen?
So my general rule, I never like repeating songs. That's my whole thing. Like the whole time I'm DJing, someone come up to me and be like, "Can you play whatever?" And I'm like, "Man, I already played it about an hour ago." They're like, "Well, can you play it again?" Like, give me some time and I'll see what I can do. Right.
Right.
Most of the time, general rule of thumb is do not repeat a song. Most of the time when an older DJ is repeating a song, it's because, I mean, they just know their crowd. Like, they know Meek Mill is going to get them hyped 2 times out the fucking night. You know? Like, it don't matter how it, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is kind of like it's like an addiction. Like, you want that feeling that everybody's fucking with you at that one moment. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you kind of throw the rule out the window and play it again. Now, like I said, that's my rule. I do not like to repeat songs. But if there's a classy way to kind of throw it back in and then get out real quick rather than just playing it twice, there's a lot of factors. I mean, it's like when you first played it and what's the context of the party at the moment, you know? But most of the time, when you hear those DJs repeating those songs, those people have probably been DJing at those venues for years.
Yeah.
You know? And they just get stuck in their routine. They know their routine like over and over and over. They know what's gonna get the people at what time, when to do it. Like, it is what it is.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because timing does matter. Because let's say you get there at 8:00, but it's just you and your homegirl at 8:00. You know what I mean? And then 3 hours from now, it's lit, and you know that song was a banger. Because if it's Dreams and Nightmares, it's hitting different with a big crowd coming.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Hell yeah. Like,
different.
I mean, that's how it is. Like, and like the other thing is like you'll be DJing and like you'll look out into the crowd and just let's say there's probably like 30 people there. You're like, but you know there's gonna be 100 people later. So you kind of like, well, fuck it, nobody really heard it.
Right. They didn't hear it.
Yeah.
But you also said too. You also mentioned about how like people come up to you, and you were the main person that taught me not to ever ask DJs to play a song. He was the main one. He was like, he was like, first of all, you're disrespecting the art form. You know what I mean? Because they have their set up how they want it. So you're just coming up, and not only are you dismissing what they got going on, but you're letting them know too, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're making it kind of just about you or whatever. And like, ever since then, like, I always think about that because I feel like back in the day, I might have asked the DJ a couple of times, like, yo, can you play this? Look, can you play Suave Mente real quick?
I asked the DJ to play the song. I remember.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes requests can help a DJ out. Like if it's a really like weird night, because I've had those nights where I'm doing my best sets and nobody really just wants to dance. They're just there to chill, right? But someone might come and say, "Hey, can you play Wipe Me Down?" I don't know. And then like all of a sudden everybody want to dance. So like from there you already know what vibe you need to get into. And that's just a funk that sometimes happens. It's kind of rare. But what I always say is that you hired a DJ for a reason. You're paying a DJ for all this money for a reason. Don't go requesting songs. And if you want to request songs, you might as well just pull out your phone and use Spotify because that's what you're doing. I'm using it as a $2, you know? So
that's true.
And I mean, like, people have their thing. It's like a science. It's like a science. Like, they know where they're trying to get to, how they're going to do it. And then when a request gets thrown in there that's totally off from what they're trying to do, it throws them off. And then the rest of the night is just kind of like winging it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, I wing it a lot.
Yeah. I know that to be true. And I be like, yo, you got your set ready, like you know what you're going. He be like, nah, I'm gonna just wing it or whatever. But like for real, like, but then it's crazy because it always ends up being like lit. You know what I mean? Like, and not just because that's homie, but like literally because, like you said, you're basing it off a crowd. You're feeling their vibe. You know what I mean? You're kind of getting to know what you should not play, and like after a while, we're all lit anyway, so we're about to be dancing to anything. Like,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
I think that's
Exactly.
interesting.
Y'all might not even know the words. You'll be dancing.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because it's like, say, for instance, it's my wedding and I'm like, I want to be lit. I want to be lit. So I want you to play this, 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 and this. But the crowd that I have is very chill. They don't want to hear this, this, and this. And even this, and this doesn't get them hyped. Like, how do you get in there and work that out? Because it's like, well, the bride wants to hear this, but y'all really don't. And I have to keep the party going. How do you get that balance?
I guess I would. So the way you would kind of go about that is you would kind of sprinkle. This is what I kind of do. It's kind of like an experiment. You'll go and I'll throw in the Bee Gees, "Staying Alive," you know, because every old person likes to dance to funk music. So so you throw in some old funky stuff, and then kind of find your way to what the bride wants. Along the way, you're gonna kind of from that funk to whatever the bride wants. You're gonna find the medium of what people want, you know? And then that's the thing you kind of have to battle too, though, because like once you found that medium, if you don't got a lot of that type of music, you kind of
you hit.
Yeah, you hit. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of the way you got to do that. You kind of just sprinkle in what you think is going to get people moving, like something of each genre, and then once you find that medium, kind of go through there.
Okay. And I also feel like too, it's hard, like, because first of all, who's gonna deny the bride? I feel like once you see the bride is lit, the groom's most likely gonna be lit too, and then you're kind of just feeding off of their energy at the same time. But you're right, there are, especially now. I think I can assume, or just at any point, you always have the older people that like a certain type of music, and then the younger people, and then you got your Spanish side, you got your hip hop side, you got all these sides. Because I always think that too, like. If I ever had a wedding reception or anything, I'm playing everything. I mean, we're literally getting into everything. Like at some point or another, somebody's gonna feel like, what? Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just but that's who I am. You know what I mean? That's true to my character too. So that's true. And then going into that anyway, so what kind of music do you create? Like what's your genre, if you can put yourself in about like
so I mean, I am very big on like EDM and like Mumba, reggaeton type of music, because of course I'm in South Texas and it's very Latin out here. Especially with the blow up of Latin music across the last couple years or 5 years, or so, with like Pitbull and Bad Bunny, Ozuna, all that good stuff that's been coming out. You kind of been, me being in this area, you stick to that kind of wave. But I mean, that's what I like to produce. A lot of like reggaeton, Mumba music, that real like islandy, I don't know, move your body type of music.
Right.
Okay, wait. So is Pitbull still coming out with music? Because I haven't heard Pitbull.
Yeah, he is. But, I mean, I'm not gonna talk shit on Pitbull, but he takes a lot of people's music. So I mean, like, he's hanging on by a thread, but he's doing what he's got to do.
Has really transitioned, because when he first came out, he was singing culo. You know what I mean? That was the joint when he first came out, and like now he's totally like Latin tech, techno type. Like that's the vibe that he is now. And I think again that just goes right into finding your audience. I think that's why you don't really hear too much about Pitbull, because Pitbull's making like a totally different type of song now. Like it's not what it was when he first came out.
Yeah, I mean, and like a lot of those electronic songs that he's using are songs that DJs produced with just the beat, and then he goes and finds them once they go viral, and then puts his own words on top of it.
Right.
And then now it's a Pitbull song. So
which is a big no. Big no.
That's my hate on him.
Right.
People working for you, I'm coming for you, mother.
Oh God, no. Oh God.
I'm starting the entertainment beef right here.
Okay. Who do you see yourself collaborating with or opening for or something? Like, who do you see?
Oh man, let me see. I mean, if I were to open for somebody like big,
yeah.
Shoot, okay. I would wanna open up for anyone like Diplo, Major Lazer.
Yeah.
Shit, I'll open up for Nicky Jam, Bad Bunny.
Hey.
All them people. That would be dope. I mean, my last big thing was, I want to say it was about 4 years ago. I opened up for G-Eazy. I know you remember.
That's right.
I mean, that was cool. that was kind of nerve-wracking. That was my first like real big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, it was just kind of building my residency. So, but yeah, I mean, to get back to that, that'd be dope. I would love to open up for any of those artists that I said. That'd be cool. That'd be a big milestone for me.
Okay. And then last question for me. Obviously, there's a lot of shit going on right now. You know what I mean? Pandemic. We're kind of getting back to it. You're not really hearing that as much now. So, but I know that Houston had opened and then it closed again.
Yeah.
So that kind of changed things for everybody. So, what are the current challenges you're facing right now? Like trying to find gigs or whatever. Like, is that?
Man, so I have not worked since March.
Okay.
DJing. But a lot of my DJ friends have. That's because their bars have changed themselves. They got a little grill out in the front, and now they're a bar and grill, so they stay open. There's this meme floating around that's like the governor saying that he's going to reopen Texas because it's all over the news right now. He's about to reopen Texas. And the meme's like, shit, we were closed? I didn't even know we was closed. Because people still going out. I was just out 2 days ago. I mean, I know I should be being responsible about the COVID shit, but that shit is long done and come. Like, we want to make some money, you know? And I've been having to, and I've been having to DJ these little backyard parties, you know, these like get-togethers for $150. Like, that's really ain't shit. But I mean, I got to make my money how I got to make my money, because unemployment ain't gonna cut it. I mean, the extra 600 was cool, thank you, Trump, but I need some more.
But that is so true, because like you said, especially in the music and entertainment industry, it's like y'all have to work, and it sucks because I feel like anybody who's working right now, you can't really find the line between like being respectful of others, you know, safety, and then also like you need money. You know what I mean? We need this money to survive. Like you said, yes, for those of like us who were able to get unemployment, that was great. That was wonderful at the time that we needed it, you know, but at the end of the day, like, we're not getting, first of all, nobody's getting that extra 600 anymore. You know what I mean? If you even qualify. And then not only that, but then there were a lot of people who weren't getting it at all. So it's like, when you're in those positions and like, you're trying to find you're following your passion, and then this type of stuff happens, it's like, first of all, it's super discouraging, I'm sure, because it's like,
you sucked, dude. That shit was like it was like a knife in my chest, dude, because I had just got me a residency, and I've been working so long to finally get one, like where I was at a spot every week. You can come see me every week. And then March came along, and then COVID shut everything down. And like there was this whole thing on the news about the whole Bar Lives Matter. People were being like, they were like, oh, these Bar Lives Matter people are stupid. They're just alcoholics that really need to go out and want to get their drink. But the real story behind all that shit, most of those people that are protesting that Bar Lives Matter are bartenders, bar backs, bar managers, DJs. These people are without jobs, man. They're at home. Not doing shit, you know, and the rent ain't getting paid, and they're working, and rent is still gonna be getting collected. And if you don't got it, you're gonna get that eviction notice. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean, a lot of people don't see that Bar Lives Matter stuff as the bigger picture. Like, these are people without jobs, man. This is our livelihood. This is our dreams just getting flushed down the drain.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I do see that we need to be responsible about the whole COVID situation. But I mean, if the masks work, why should restaurants be open? Why can't bars be open? It's the same shit, you know?
Well, and that I really didn't understand. Like, I really was torn with the whole, Chynel, you good? You blacked out real quick.
Oh, I'm good. Am I not there no more?
Yeah, you keep going in and out.
Well, you were there this whole time, but like now your screen is just says CD on it. But as long as you can see us, then we're good.
Yeah, I can see you guys. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I can't see.
Okay. Yeah. So no, but for me, like when I heard about like when we opened up and it was like, okay, restaurants can be open, but bars can't be open, and I kind of understand because people are going to eat, but it's like, can you only contract this, you know, when you're eating or when you're not eating and you're just drinking, you know what I mean? Like, I want to understand how they're going about it, but then at the same time, I don't. And like, you're seeing a lot of these restaurants open without the bars being open, but it's like, you're still serving drinks, you're still doing, you know what I mean? And we could literally still sit there and drink and just vibe out, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're sitting at a separate table, but I don't know. Like, I think, you know, to your point, like having it sectioned off you know, the 6 feet thing. I feel like a lot of places are doing really good with that now. So, you know, it sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck for the people in that industry. And it's not just, oh, you work at a bar, you know what I mean, get a grown-up job. Because I feel like a lot of people have that mindset as well.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that this lifestyle is such a great way to network that it opens up so many doors for DJs and producers and people that are on the up and up.
Yeah.
And then even for these bartenders, you know what I mean? This is how they level up too. And this is the industry they chose. So we can't really knock it just because we can't relate to it. And so I get it. I absolutely get that.
And it's like there's just so much more to the picture, man. It's like a lot of these people, these bars are like, I have friends that are opening up their own bars, and they were supposed to open up in April or June, and they can't do that. Like their whole dream of having their own business is down the drain. They probably, I don't even know, I haven't spoken to them, but like Johnny's Gold Brick is one of those bars that if they're not open, I mean, they're doing good. I mean, they're hanging in there, but like, you know, like if it were to get any worse, those are bars that are going to close down, you know, and that's people's livelihood, man. It's a shitty situation.
Yeah.
So
we had a wine bar over here too. It's called Wine Down, and they closed so fast because they didn't have the right amount of employees to qualify for, you know, whatever things were coming out when everything first happened. And it sucked because it was a wine bar, and then right next to it was, I think, a bourbon or whiskey bar too, and they were connected. And so I was like, oh, you know, I went to the wine bar. It was really cool. Didn't even get a chance to go to the other side. So now it's just a space just sitting there. You know what I mean? I just drove past it the other day. Stairs just checked. Chairs are just stacked up and just like nothing. It's just a dead zone now. And it sucks because it's like, again, this was somebody's dream, and it would have did really well had it not been for that. It sucks.
It's horrible. It's a shitty situation. I mean, it's just, that's what the thing is like these bailouts are helping out bigger businesses, and they're not really helping out those neighborhood small time mom and pop places that are just starting their business, you know. I mean, it is what it is.
But I did want to mention, like, I feel like 2021 is going to be a year of just reclaiming your passion and reclaiming what it is that you were set out to do, because you literally are having to crawl your way out of a hole, dig your way out of a hole that you didn't get yourself. You know what I mean? So that's a different type of hole. And so, you know, with there being little to no resources at this point, as far as I'm concerned, I don't feel like for tiny businesses, single LLCs, and, you know, people like yourself, DJs, and just entrepreneurs in general, you know, who every day is a struggle to even make it, because if you're not working for a corporation or somebody who's going to give you that, that stable income, you know, that stable, you know, the residency, like you said, you had a place where you were going to be able to go to, you knew you were going to get paid. It's almost like an hourly job. Like, you know, you're going, you know, you're going to make some type of money, and now it's not happening. And that's sad, because honestly, that never even dawned on me. I did think about the bars and stuff like that, but it never even dawned on me about the entertainment industry and all the bands and stuff that just can't play at their local spots no more. So you definitely opened my eyes to a lot of a whole nother wave of just like, wow. That's crazy.
And I think it's so important, because you think like, okay, I'm seeing now concert venues, now they're starting to prepare for like next year and so on for people to attend these concerts and stuff. But if you think about it, the entertainment industry, I think, took a major loss this year. How many concerts were canceled, and you know what I mean? Even just on a local level, just small events. Even when I went to Louisiana earlier this year, and there were a lot of things that were on, you know, the event sites, like, oh, there's going to be a concert here, this and that, and they couldn't do any of that. And I'm speaking to like the locals, and they're like, you know, it's so crazy. We've never seen this area or this area that dead before. Like, it was a ghost town. It was a dead zone, you know, rightfully so, because again, we're trying to be respectful, and we're trying to do our due diligence and not be out and not do, you know, what we, you know, whatever. But it's like, it did take a major loss, and it's unfortunate. And I don't think that anybody should feel like they can just overlook that, because we very much rely on this industry. You know what I mean? Whether we want to admit it or not. I mean, music is religion for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Without that, like, you can't really, you know what I mean? That's workouts, that's car rides.
Man, it's an outlet. Like, people, they work these 9 to 5s day in, day out, waking up at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, go to work. I mean, you want to go out on Friday night and wind down, you know? And now you're stuck at home looking at your girlfriend that's bitching you out all week. You're looking at your dog that just looking at you like, "What, you still here, motherfucker?" Like, yeah, man, I'm still here.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact.
It is what it is. And it's just, I mean, like, we had to adjust to these new COVID ways. I mean, I'm sure shit's gonna be different in 2021. It's not gonna go back to being normal. Like, I don't see it as that, because even when the vaccination comes out, I'm not gonna take that vaccination. That's I'm one of them conspiracy people. I'm one of them people that feels like the government will try to fuck me.
I'm on that wave, and that's a whole episode in itself. It really is, because that's just such a great debate. But I feel that, and I feel like we've adapted so much to wearing masks and being a certain amount of distance from each other and whatever, that I kind of don't really see it going fully back to normal next year. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, and mind you, other countries are already doing the mask thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're kind of late to the game in that sense. So it's not necessarily out of the norm. It's just out of the norm for us because we're just now having to do it. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, we wouldn't have done it. Let's be clear. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to sit there and wear a mask all day. Yeah. It's not fun. Like, let's be clear. Let's call it what it is. But I think, to your point, Chynel, I think definitely it's about digging yourself out of that tunnel that, like you said, that you didn't put yourself into, which is, it sucks because it's like you want to blame so many other people for this. Right. You know what I mean? But it's like, it doesn't matter. The point is like, what are you doing now? And I was just having this conversation, and I feel like we always shed light on this on these episodes. Is like, this whole year, basically, because 2020 was a hell of a year. This whole year, I feel like it just put so much into perspective for so many people. I feel like if you came out of this year and you didn't work on your craft in one way or another, it's telling you a lot about not only your work ethic, but just like what you actually really want to do. You know what I mean? Right. Because I feel like while a lot of people did struggle, and I'm not undermining and I'm not taking away from that struggle at all, but I think for a lot of creatives, this was really their time to shine. Because even going back into restaurants, I'm seeing how they're like switching. Like, they totally switched up. Their plates are different. The food, how they're plating their food is totally different. They upgraded their menus. Like, people are really taking time to bounce back, to dig themselves out of that hole and really just make the most of it and be the greatest that they can be. So I think there was a lot of greatness in that sense. Right. And I think even for creatives, it was such a time to, work on different, create different sets, create different tracks, like kind of put yourself out there in a different way once it's time for you to go back. So it's interesting. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings for a lot of people. I feel like I said, the amount of creativity I've seen is amazing. I've seen so much creativity coming from all kinds of businesses, singers, whatever, so many different types of people, so many different walks of life, that I'm actually kind of excited to see like what happens now then, because once this is done and we don't really have that excuse of, oh, well, we can't do this and our time is limited here or whatever, then what? You know what I mean? Then what are we going to be doing at that point?
Yeah, because like when I went through the whole when we first shut down, I kind of went through like a little mild depression. Like, I was just like, man, what am I gonna do now? I need to have like an essential job just to like stay afloat out here,
Right.
Like, what am I gonna do next year? Am I still gonna try to pursue being a DJ for like the rest of my days, or am I gonna try to get this essential job so I got consistent money coming in?
Right.
So that's that like battle in my head I had to go through.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people in your positions battle, like you said, because it's like, especially when, again, you work in an industry where people, I feel like in the music and entertainment industry, people automatically are rejecting your craft, your art, because a lot of people, it's kind of like, well, this is not a grown-up job. You know what I mean? What are you going to do to pay your bills and this and this and that? And it's hard because it's like, but you see like what it could be, people making it, and you see people that aren't even good making it. That's the sucky part. You know what I mean? And that you have this, you have this skill and you're good at it. You're great at it. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's what that industry is all about. Let's be clear. I mean, in any industry, you have the doubters, but it's like in this one in particular, it's hard because you go home, being over here, everybody wants to rap. everybody wants to rap. So it's like, and I think we talked about this, Martin, when Jay was over there, and we had talked about how like being back home, nobody takes you serious when you're doing that because at home, you know what I mean? And then it's kind of just like, oh, you want to rap? Oh, he want to be a rapper now too, you know, whatever. And it's like you gotta continue at it, no matter how much you're being, you know, shitted on, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No,
man,
but
when I first started out, people were like, "This dude really want to be a DJ," and they thought it was cool at first, and then they started really taking me serious when it's like 10 years later and I'm still doing the damn thing, you know? And like, then all of a sudden people want to be like, "Yeah, man, you're a DJ. Give me into your event for free," type shit. Man. Y'all gotta support me.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Yeah,
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Get in, and now you want to, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's definitely true. Seeing that, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think you opened our viewers up to a whole nother mindset, a whole nother view on this vlog, because this is something that, number one, I don't know how many people know a DJ. That's just that. There's not that many DJs out there. Like, I don't have any friends that are a DJ. So for, you know, this is news to me on you know, your outlook and how you are living and the struggle that you have, even though it's a struggle very similar to mine, very similar to Ronai's. It's a whole nother business that we haven't really thought of. So I don't have any more questions. I think you pretty much answered everything, but I just wanted to thank you for coming on today, because honestly, like, I'm really not mind blown, but just like, wow, like we don't think of these things.
Right. No, and it's so funny because even having a friend that's a DJ, I didn't even really think fully to that extent. Like, yo, like this is the struggle is a little different on this end. Like, I think when me and him have conversations, I'm like, oh yeah, that's true, you know, and it's crazy because, again, like, just to think about like the main thing that you want to do, like you can't, and it's not even because you don't have the ability to do it. It's just like literally walls are being put up to where you can't do it, and now they're telling you that your craft isn't deserving of like being considered, you know what I mean, as we continue to phase open and do different things. And it sucks. That sucks. So definitely thank you for coming on. My last question for you really is, I mean, what advice would you give young people that want to become DJs and producers? Like, what would you tell your younger self if you could?
Well, if you're starting now, now's the time to do it. You got nothing but time. Stay on it. If you're producing, produce every day, even if it's like 10-second songs, like even if it's just a little drum loop, do it every day. If it's DJing, download music every day. Mess with your turntables, you know, or if you don't have turntables, just know your music, you know. So that way when it's time to show up, you're familiar with everything that's got to be played, when to play it, what's hot, what's not hot. Yeah, just stay ready. I mean,
stay ready.
I'm gonna be back, man. I can't wait for that first day that I get to DJ again for a crowd. It's gonna be nuts. I know I'm gonna black out that night.
Real. That's and that's what you call passion.
Yeah.
For those who are wondering, that's passion.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it for you coming on. As always, like I said, nothing but love over here.
Yeah.
We'll have information at the end so people can follow you, whatever, you know, reach out, whatever the case may be. Whenever you're in Houston, look up DJ BangFvsa. Thank
Follow
you.
me
as
at
always.
Instagram at BangFvsa. It's the same thing on Twitter. Shout out the Rockets. You know, we're gonna beat the Lakers this week. Go on to the finals. You know what I'm saying? Shout out everyone in Pennsylvania. Jay McFly. I know you're over there rooting for the Lakers. Well, who knows what team you're rooting for these days, but I'm sure it's the Lakers. But thank y'all. Y'all were amazing. Y'all were cool. I hope everyone in Pennsylvania or y'all's viewers get a little bit more of a understanding of this struggle.
Right.
All right. Well, we can get in touch.
Right.
All right, y'all.
Right. No, for sure. Definitely got some things going on in the future, as always. I think we always end it with that, but we do really have a couple of things in the works, a couple of things that we want to do when the world is a little more open and we can actually, you know, function a little bit differently. But yeah, I'm Ronai with Anomaly the Agency.
I'm Chynel with Chapter 28 Beauty, and our special guest,
BangFvsa, what do to do?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
All right, y'all.
Bye.